celebrating living legends and African American contributions to the arts. All that is part of the African American Heritage Month celebrations here in Los Angeles. What else is happening in the city of LA to mark African American Heritage Month?
Well, we have many activities in the month of February. We started off with a roundtable discussion on the national theme, as you mentioned earlier. This year it is African American and the arts. And so we had various scholars throughout the academic institutions, all of whom had a discussion about the impact of art and what it generates in our communities today.
In addition to the City Hall celebrations, of course, there are activities going on all over the city. Not the least of which is the Baldwin Hills Mall. Of course, the Pan-African Arts Festival is going on, and vendor booths at the mall. But these activities really are symptomatic of what's happening all over the community as we celebrate, recognize, and take part in these celebrations.
Yes, and we are doing events even in the Tom Bradley room, and it will honor two living legends in the media. We're talking about Dominic DePrima from KBLA 1580 AM, as well as our very own Angel Jennings from the LA Times.
We've been celebrating Black History Month in the U.S. for decades. Why do we still need this? Either one of you jump in.
Well, first of all, although our culture is replicated and dominates in so many spaces, particularly in the arts, unfortunately, our community is under attack in this country. When you think about banning our books, banning our stories, and the attacks that African Americans have even seen in being able to vote in some places, where people are targeted, even from the highest spaces in the land. And so we need to be intentional in these times to not only stand up for everyone, which African Americans are really good at doing, we need to stand up for our community for such a time as these.
What are we doing to move the needle in terms of Black folk getting the health care they need, the support they need? What are we doing?
It's a real challenge, and I think it has to really be a real collaborative approach. Certainly the public sector has a role to play, making sure that the resources are there, federal, state, local level. But we also have to engage the private sector. We've got to engage the nonprofit sector. And we need to, as has been said earlier, need to be really focused and intentional. In the area of housing, we know that's a big issue, not only affordable housing, but housing for our homeless neighbors. And while we've made some great strides here at the city level and in District 9, we still have a lot more to do. And until we have a really coordinated approach, you're going to always be behind the curve.
Right. And one of the things that we'd like to do at LA Civil Rights is to be intentional to make sure that we have representation in so many fields that could be a force multiplier to make sure that things are better for the African American population in the county. And one of the events we'll be doing is in partnership with Charles Drew University to encourage people to go to medical school. Only 5% of our medical doctors in this country identify as African American. And the folks that are in these spaces do great work.
And you work with HBCUs as well. Tell us about that.
We can make a difference economically with government jobs where people are hired. When we look at the data in terms of how many engineers in the city of Los Angeles, then we see an underrepresentation. So if we look at the students here who do continue to train for engineering, and they are not at UCLA, where are they? We've discovered that many of them are at historically Black colleges and universities. So we have developed a program to do outreach, to bring back those individuals from Los Angeles who are going to school in other places throughout the country, to let them know after their training is complete that Los Angeles is a place where a job exists for them.
Councilman Price, let's talk about the basic income program.
Well, I was happy to sponsor the initial Guaranteed Basic Income program, but it was scheduled initially for District 9. And it gained such popularity with my colleagues and the mayor, it became a citywide program, a $40 million program, the largest in the country. And basically, we identified 3,300 families at or below the level of poverty with one or so dependent, and they were provided with $1,000 a month for a year. Now, that was a pretty good deal. And the results are not totally in, but it was clear that people used the funds in a very responsible kind of way. It was really an empowering act.
And that's who Councilmember Price is. He's always using his position and authority to make sure that he takes care of those that are in need. And even thinking about the repair program, right, that helps residents of the city of Los Angeles that live in the 9 repair zones. These are the neighborhoods where there has historically been disinvestment. And so it was wonderful that we were able to provide $8.5 million to these communities thanks to Councilmember Price.
So it's these little things that can make a pretty big difference.
Yes.
Absolutely. And that's true of our parks as well. So I've been focusing the past 10 years or so on providing those resources, almost to the tune of about $60 million. We've upgraded all the parks, provided new equipment, new infrastructure, and I'm excited about the 2 new parks that will be coming up along the Slauson corridor area. One is called Slauson Connect, right there between Brighton and Normandy Avenue. It's going to be a state-of-the-art education and recreational center for adults and for kids. And then further down on Figueroa at Slauson, we have Bill Green Park coming in. These are the kinds of things that our community expects and they deserve, and it's important for quality of life.
Commissioner Davis, for just the second time in modern history, we have a black mayor in LA. What does that mean for black Angelenos?
It means a lot, and I first want to say it means a lot for everyone. She's the first woman ever to be a leader in the great city of Los Angeles. And in terms of being an African American, the first African American woman, it means that Los Angeles is this multicultural city where African Americans matter.
As an African American woman, it's really truly inspirational to have Mayor Bass leading the city. And she does things just so well, whether it's locking arms with the council and the county and community-based organizations to address homelessness, or if she's working on an emergency. You know, she's a leader and she stands up and she delivers for Los Angeles, and we couldn't be more proud of her.
And she's just the person we need at this time. I mean, with a background as a community organizer, background in community health, it's actually, with background as an experienced legislator, at the state level and at the federal level. She has just really demonstrated that we can work together. She has committed, certainly herself and her administration, to improving the quality of life. And I think we're all going to be benefiting from that.
I want to ask each of you, what does African American Heritage Month mean to you?
Well, for me, it means a chance to celebrate and to recognize. Certainly, there's always the historical programs about what went on in the past and what our ancestors did. That's so very important. But I think it's also important to inspire and encourage the current generation, the next generation.
I think it's important for us to know that in spite of some of the obstacles, African Americans have continued to contribute to Los Angeles, whether it's the arts or thinking about the medical contributions of maybe like a Charles Drew and others, and thinking about the work that has been done to keep those stories alive by the Arthur Study Club and the great work of Commissioner Mike Davis, along with our council members from Council Districts 8, 9, and 10.
For me, it means a national impact of who we are in this country. It means for me from slavery to freedom. It means for me what is possible in America. And ultimately, African American History Month means to me an example of the American dream, from slavery to freedom.
Well said. Well, this has certainly been an informative conversation. Thank you all so much for joining us. And that's going to do it for this edition of LA Currents. I'm Anita Bennet. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.